freedom, freedom, freedom. Who doesn't want more freedom in their life? I especially want freedom from my thoughts and my emotions and my mind sometimes from people and situations as well. Well, the Bible talks about freedom in a lot of places. Galatians is a big book on freedom, but today I want to talk about the verse Isaiah 61, verse 1. Now stay with me because I know this is a popular verse, but we're going to see it in a new light today. So turn in your Bibles, Isaiah 61, 1. I've got mine up here so I can read it to you because I've chunked it a little bit. So the word freedom will come up. So bear with me, but we're going to start with how do we get there? Because I want more of it, and I hope you do too. So let's live the life he has for us. So let's start. It's Isaiah 61, 1, and it says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news to the poor." So, well, I want to stop there because it says to who? Who is he preaching this good news, right? He's preaching it to the poor. So we need to be poor. That might be financially. It might be with thoughts. Like we need to have poor thoughts. We need to acknowledge that we have poor thoughts. We need to admit that we're poor in whatever area of our life that we are poor in. It might be our thoughts. It might be our emotions. It might be our mindsets. It might be financially. It might be spiritually. It might be relationally. Wherever we're poor, we need to admit that. And we need to bring that to him. So, because the beginning of this, as we read in Luke 4, it says that the person that fulfilled this is Christ. So this is in Isaiah, and he's prophesying about the Messiah. And so when you look in Luke 4, you're going to find him, Christ, reading this aloud in the synagogue. So that's a little bit where that links up. So when we talk about the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach the gospel, that's Christ, okay? So we need to admit we're poor. He's going to bring these other things. So our step, admit we're poor. Then it goes on to say, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. Well, wait a minute. The brokenhearted, like I like to act like I have it all together. I like to, just muddle through and try harder, try longer, try more. Then things will work. But he's saying we have to admit we're brokenhearted. If we want him to bind us up, we need to admit that we're brokenhearted. Not controlling, not having it all together, but we need to come to him and say, I don't know what to do in this situation, or I really messed this up, and I need you to help me fix it. I need you to fix it. We'll be a part of that, yes, but it's more him, and it's him guiding and directing, not us micromanaging and figuring it all out. And that was a hard one for me and still is sometimes, especially when it gets really difficult. All right, so we've got the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me because the Lord has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. So we're poor. I hope we're poor. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. So are we admitting we're brokenhearted? Are we admitting we're poor? Are we admitting we're brokenhearted? And coming to him that way. Don't get yourself all fixed up and say, okay, now I got a plan. God, now I'll come and pray. And I'll tell you exactly the plan and how we should go about doing this. Because that's not how this works. He needs to tell you the plan and then you go and do it. All right. And then the next verse says, the next part of that verse, to proclaim freedom to the captives. So as we admit we're poor, as we let him bind us up, he will free us. We are the captives. We're captives to sin. We're captives to whatever it is we're allowing to keep us away from going to God in our circumstances. So he will proclaim that freedom for us. We have to acknowledge that we're captives, though. Our thoughts, the enemy is in our thoughts. He's in our mind. He's in our emotions. He's in our world. He's in so many places. And so we need to acknowledge that we are captives and that he is here to let us free. And he does that. How? Through the word, right? Through prayer, through coming to him when we're brokenhearted, not trying to micromanage and control our way out of it. It's those things that will bring us that freedom. But we do need to bring it to him. If we truly want freedom, we need to bring those things to him and not try and micromanage it on our own or control it on our own or figure it out on our own. We need to let him help us. All right. So Jesus is our freedom. In closing, let's remember we have to admit we're poor and we need his help. We need to come to him broken, not fixed up, but broken. Not striving to fix our problems, but letting him fix our problems for us. So then he can proclaim our freedom. And then we get to live in that. So let's proclaim that freedom. Let's live in that freedom. Let's bring ourselves to him and let's take it to the next level.